89. Now, as we observe the 30 components that make up the Dow on the day, we find flat market behavior in evidence. Of the 30, 14 of the issues were up, 13 were down, 3 were unchanged. 2 individual issues changed by 1 full point or more. They were mixed. Allied Industries off 1 1/4 points, Merck up 1 1/2 points. Big word volume came in near that of the previous day. Big word volume on the update expanded by 1,952,000 shares and came in at 97,730,000 shares, the turnover. Viewing now the Dow 20 Transportation Index, this index had a change on the day of minus 1.53, a close at 640.79. And the index had an intraday low of 635.29, an intraday high of 646.76. The utility sector continues to live beneath the dominance of a declining tops line, having violated its long-term rising bottoms line. Therefore, it is the declining tops line that controls the pattern until proven otherwise. We find the change in the day was a minus 0.52, a posting of 153.56. Now, to view the real market. We are viewing the real New York Stock Exchange market, and we're looking at the trade levels real market index. And this takes into account all common stocks in the New York Stock Exchange, the daily unweighted price averages basis. The solid line is the price action itself. This solid line has been violated, and therefore it is the declining tops line that controls the pattern. These are all lines of negative influence. The price structure is down beneath the 39-day and the 39-week weighted moving average lines, all negative evidence, and it takes about, it has required about 10 weeks to accomplish that, and at the end of this week we will have been to the right of my pointer, which denotes the previous most recent high for 12 weeks. Price of an average share down 16 cents today. Dollar and cent value of all shares in the New York Stock Exchange, $60.95. Now, as we do the McClellan oscillator, we observe little change on the day. The index changed from minus 4 to a minus 7. And whenever we experience a change that is that of 4 points or less to none, we expect the prospects of a dramatic change in the popular averages within the next 2 trading sessions. We had a change of 3 points, obviously, today. The change, the 10% index was at minus 120 today, and the 5% index was minus 113. The differential is a minus 7, McClellan oscillator reading. We're back in negative territory, and we're at the presence of a short-term rising bottoms line. Now, as we view its companion tool, the McClellan summation index, we'll observe the waves of selling pressure. The first let up of the selling pressure, the resumption, let up of the selling pressure, and now we are in prospect of challenging previous recent lows. You'll observe the congested posting seen near the end of my pointer. All of that suggests, particularly in this rally attempt, it's congested and no expansion to the upside, meaning no new energy coming into the market, merely a lessening of selling intensity. Now, if we can go up to the previous most recent period of declining behavior, you'll observe the same kind of evidence, a very tight posting. It is the wide separation of posting that is evidence of energy leaving the market or energy coming into the market. Let's go back to a period of rising behavior, and you'll observe that when the posting begins to be widely separated to the upside, that is evidence of energy coming into the market. And when it is tightly posted but still rising, the energy is beginning to exhaust itself. Now, the posting today is a reading of plus 78, and that's obviously lower than the previous day's reading of plus 85. In secondary markets, we've observed that the MX Market Value Index has violated its rising bottoms line daily basis and is challenging previous most recent lows. Recent lows occurred about 6 weeks ago at the end of my pointer. We're challenging those lows now. The change on the day was minus 0.80, the index at 220.70. On the New York Stock Exchange Composite Index, we find that it is a line of negative influence, this declining tops line from the previous most recent highs that control the price structure. The change on the day was minus 0.06. The close at 115.19. Viewing individual components that make up the 30 of the Dow, observing weekly basis price behavior on the Mansfield charts covering a 2.5-year time frame. The stock of Bethlehem Steel is obviously much closer to its price lows than to its price highs. Price always seen near the end of my pointer at 16 3/8 on the day. off 1/8. Chevron Corporation stock is much closer to its price highs than to its price lows for the 2.5 years viewed at 37 7/8. DuPont at 58 3/4, much closer to its price highs than to its price lows, off 1/8. Eastman Kodak, on the other hand, much closer to its price lows than to its price highs at 44 3/8. Exxon, much closer to its price highs than to its price lows for the 2.5 years viewed, was up 1/4 at 52 1/4. General Electric, midway between the highs and lows for the last 2.5 years at 57 1/2, up 3/4 on the day. Viewing those individual stocks on the New York Stock Exchange that are denoted by the computer to suggest high relative strength. You're viewing daily graph charts covering a 12-month time frame of daily basis price behavior. At the end of my pointer encircled is a number, which in this instance is 97. It is a relative strength number at the end of a line, which is called a relative strength line, calling attention to the fact that 97 means the stock is stronger than 97% of all of the other issues on New York Stock Exchange within the 12-month time frame viewed. Trans World Airlines closed at 22 3/8, off 1/8. This was, after all, an $8 7/8 number at the December lows. SCM Corporation has relative strength at 97. The issue closed at 72 3/4, up 1/4. This, for example, was a $38 number just 1 year ago. It still can and does happen on Wall Street. First Federal Savings Bank of Arizona has relative strength of 97. The issue closed at 27 1/4, up 5/8. This was a $12 number 10 months ago. Deltona Corporation, this company's stock, has relative strength of 97. The issue closed at 9 1/4. It is up 1/4 of a point. And while we are on this little issue, let me just call your attention to that structure. If that structure will break out above that declining tops line on expanding volume, you will observe that we had a flagstaff, and that will be this line right here. We had a flagstaff, and now we are creating a pennant. And what we need is a high volume breakout to the upside that may have occurred today. All of this is coming off of a very substantial long base formation. And to remind yourself of that, we'll simply take that as the picture. As we move up to a 7-month time frame picture, we observe that Public Service of New Hampshire stock has relative strength of 96. It closed at 7 1/4, off 1/8. United Brands Company stock has relative strength of 96. It closed at 22 1/2. This was a $10 number at the beginning of this year in January. Moving across to the stock of Tonka Corporation. The stock has relative strength of 95. It closed at 21 5/8. It is off 1/4. And Barco, B-A-R-C-O, Barco International, stock has relative strength of 95. It closed at 4 3/8, unchanged. And United Energy Resources stock has relative strength of 95. It closed at 42 1/8, off 1/8.
Oil and gas, two of America's most vital resources. Gene Morgan Financial has ferreted out energy opportunities that answer the most important criteria for profitable and safe investment. Low risk. Gene Morgan-sponsored oil and gas recovery projects are designed to be low risk, providing high returns. Gene Morgan-sponsored oil and gas recovery projects seek to provide that high return. Tax advantages and safety. These energy opportunities provide significant tax advantages with a very conservative investment program. An investment in a Gene Morgan Financial-sponsored oil and gas limited partnership is an investment in America's future. Gene Morgan Financial, opening new horizons for you. To learn about this investment opportunity in oil and gas, call 1-800-GM today. That's 1-800-GM today.
As we view the NASDAQ Composite Index, we'll observe that this index is reaching for lows. Let's pull our camera back just a bit if we can so that we can carry our vision back to where we are at this time. You see, bring your vision from the end of my pointer all the way across time, and you will find that we are in the second week of January right now. So the Price behavior where we are now is where we were in the index second week of January. So all of this time in progress has pretty much been wiped away. We find that the change on the day is a minus 1.35, and the close was at 276.95. The NASDAQ Industrial Index is pretty clear. As we view the index in this instance, the change on the day was minus 2.22, the close at 278.04. And if you'll bring your vision back across time, in this instance, you'll find we're in the second week of January right now. Viewing what the market likes in the over-the-counter market, we're viewing investors' daily charts covering a 12-month time frame of weekly basis price behavior. And the first issue is Endurtronics, which manufactures high technology biological instruments and related products for cellular engineering applications. The company stock has relative strength of 99. The issue closed at 23.5, up 1/2 point. Nike manufactures athletic footwear. This company stock has relative strength of 96. The issue closed at 14 1/8, off 1/4. Datascope manufactures instrumentation and surgical monitoring and heart attack assistance and emergency medical care plans and equipment. This company stock has relative strength of 93. It closed at 22.5, off 1/4. City National Corp, holding company for City National Bank of Beverly Hills, stock has relative strength of 88. The issue closed at 32, off 1/4 of a point. Coast Federal Savings Loan of Florida, stock has relative strength of 83. The issue closed at 18.25, off 3/8. Jefferson National Life Insurance has relative strength of 82. The issue closed at 30.25, up 1/2 point. Moving to the metals, London Gold second fix, always seen near the end of my pointer, up 60 cents an ounce. The close at, or the fix at $326.35 an ounce. Gold in New York on the COMEX was lower by $1.90 to close at $328.60. Intraday low was $328.50. Intraday high was $330.90. Silver on the COMEX in New York was lower by 5 cents to close at $6.35. Closed on its low of the day. Intraday high was $6.40. Very narrow range. In the financial instruments, the Treasury bills, the 90-day instruments on the Mercantile Exchange, the change was that of unchanged on the day. The close at 92.79. Intraday low was 92.74. Intraday high was 92.81. Treasury bonds traded on the Chicago Board of Trade. Change on the day was plus 8/32 to close at 74.28. The intraday low was 74.15. The intraday high was 75 even. The British pound was lower by 35 points. The price always seen near the end of my pointer. The close at 140.60 to the dollar. The intraday low was 140.20. Intraday high was 140.85. Very narrow range intraday. The Deutschmark was off 5 points to close at 38.01. Intraday low was 37.96. Intraday high was 38.13. The Japanese yen today off 6 points to close at 46.46. Intraday low is 46.44. Intraday high was 46.61. The Swiss franc was lower by 13 points to close at 46.37. Intraday low is 46.30. Intraday high was 46.57. In the futures markets, first, the reference to the basis being cash or spot. We find in the stock index futures, cash was unchanged on the day at 181.87. Intraday low is 181.16. Intraday high was 182.30. Very narrow intraday ranges for the financials, for the currencies, and for the futures. As we view the Standard & Poor's futures index traded on the Mercantile Exchange, we'll observe that the previously drawn declining tops line continues to control the pattern until proven otherwise. We find today the change, that of minus 0.35, the close at 182.85. Intraday low is 182.20. Intraday high was 183.65. The value line futures index traded on the Kansas City Exchange. Change on the day was minus 0.75. The close at 189.35. Intraday low is 188.65. Intraday high was 190.55. New York Stock Exchange Composite Futures Index traded on New York Futures Exchange. A declining tops line continues to control this price pattern, as is the case for virtually all other price patterns. We find the change in the day to be minus 0.15, the index at 105.75 at the close. Intraday low is 105.25, intraday high was 106.20. We are conducting two programs at this time. Growth of Capital, Pacific International Futures Fund, that superior performing fund this year and last year, is Tuesdays and Thursdays, 3 p.m. and 7 p.m., and Saturdays at 10 a.m. with the Continental Breakfast. Now, we will only have two remaining public seminars for the Clifton Income Fund this year. One will be tomorrow. And if you would like the prospects of learning how to put to work a master loan real estate limited partnership, which is a self-liquidating partnership, how you can receive the return of all of your capital and a return on your capital of 19.5%, as well as a distribution of cash on sale, we would encourage you to learn how you can benefit from a high level of income tomorrow when we will be at the California Yacht Club, Marina del Rey. That's tomorrow, California Yacht Club, Marina del Rey. If you would like the address, please call my office, indicate your interest in attending, and we will give you the particulars. Tomorrow, join us for a light buffet at 12 noon. Or this coming Saturday at Rancho Bernardo Inn at 1 p.m., we'll have a light buffet accompanying our income program. Now, to learn what stocks individually on the New York Stock Exchange had the largest change in points, not percentages, on the day, we observed that Viacom International was up 5 3/4 points and brings that stock up to 52 1/4 points, just 1/4 of a point above its previous reference high of 5 weeks ago. We find volume expanded 5-fold to 589,800 shares. That would be evidence of large amounts of new energy coming into the market. Now, when you view Viacom International, which is a distributor of television programs and film and CATV businesses, we find the stock is still in the growth phase, the stock into new price history high ground. This, after all, was an $8 issue at the beginning of this time frame in 1978. Today, it is at 52 1/4. Capital Cities Communications was up 4 5/8 after having been in a sell down from the $220 area. Recently, the issue up 4 5/8 to close at 191 1/8 on 33,000 shares to turnover. As you view the price history behavior of Capital Cities Communications on a long-term perspective, it's still obviously in a growth phase. As we move down to the stock of Beatrice Company, the food company, this issue, it's a very broadly diversified company, I should say. Beatrice Companies now, dairy and grocery products, candy, chemicals, and manufactured products. This company stock was up 2 3/4 points. It's rumored to be a leverage buyout, and that's what causes this kind of action to take place. Remember that just as recently as the late July lows, this was a $29 issue. Today, it is a $42 1/4 issue, up 2 3/4 points on substantial expansion volume, and that is the evidence of money and conviction coming into the issue. 4,528,200 shares is money of consequence. Now, when we bring the price behavior on this long-term chart up to the current level, you'll observe that the price foundation for the stock is approximately at the $20 level and graduated from the beginning of the time frame in 1969 to the current period of time, and that the stock for the most part resolved its indecision pattern with a breakout before reaching the apex of that pattern, which occurred in 1983. Moving up the stock of Hilton Hotels, the stock has made the round trip pretty much from the beginning point to its highs at 73.5 and back down to the beginning point at 55. It's back at 59 3/4, up 2 3/4 points in the day on 111,800 shares turnover. Quaker Oats, living above a rising bottoms line, was up 1 3/8 and closed at 58 3/8 in the new high ground. Food stocks are in favor at this time. Digital equipment lost 3 1/8 points and closed 103 7/8 on 1 million share turnover. That had is huge turnover for that issue. Obviously, institutions getting out of the issue. Viewed on long term, that would be pictured thusly on the long-term chart, viewing it from 1969 to the current period of time. General Dynamics was off 2 5/8, close to 66 3/4, and General Dynamics is still at 66 3/4, would appear thusly on a long-term chart, viewing it from 1966 to the current period of time. For our stock summary on the day, we find the market as measured by the Dow was plus 1.12. New York Stock Exchange Composite Index, referring to everything in New York Stock Exchange, was minus 0.06. MX Market Value Index minus 0.80. New York Stock NASDAQ Composite Index minus 1.35. In the over-the-counter market, declines prevailed. 1,038 issues versus advances of 637. May I remind you that it is possible for you to achieve a return of 19.5% on your money and the return of your money through a master loan real estate limited partnership. Now, if a high level of income is attractive to you at the 19.5% annualized level, may I encourage you to join us tomorrow at the California Yacht Club in Marina del Rey. For the address, call my office, 1-800-GM today, to indicate your interest in attending and the address. It is a private club. And this coming Saturday, the final event on the Clifton Income Fund will take place at 1 p.m. in Rancho Bernardo when we host a light buffet. That will be the last event this calendar year on the Clifton Income Fund. I'm Gene Morgan, Chart of the Market. I hope you'll join me tomorrow at this same time.
Critics of business cry for government regulation on moral or ethical grounds. Business managers appear not to realize that it's still government regulation.
Thank you for joining us on Charting the Market. Each day, Gene Morgan researches and analyzes daily worldwide market activity. Charting the Market assists you in making your buy, sell, and hold strategy decisions. To learn more about investment opportunities in energy, world currency, real estate, futures, and the stock market, call Gene Morgan Financial at 1-800-GM today. To reserve a seat for the next Gene Morgan seminar, call 1-800-GM today. And join us again tomorrow on Charting the Market.